BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Hi, Gary Lineker here. A quick word before we start. Don't expect your normal match of the day analysis on this pod, and there might be some bad language. In fact, there is. We're footballers after all. Cheers. Welcome to Match of the Day, top 10 from BBC Sounds. Ian Wright and Alan Shearer are here again in my kitchen. How did you find episode 1?
That was
lively.
That was on Captains. It's
Tough.
difficult, isn't it? And if you think that was going to be tough, today's it will be even tougher because it's going to be controversial. Goal scorers. This is our favourite subject, goal scorer.
Mm-hmm.
What makes a great goal scorer? What's the secret, Alan?
It's a drug.
I agree. Totally.
In terms of when you get that feeling of seeing the ball hit the back of the net and hearing the crowd, you want to do it again and again and again.
There's a feeling you get, once you've scored the goal, and especially once we've got playing professional, there's a kind of like a 20-second, once the game's kicked back off, there's still a shivery kind of like unbelievable adrenaline thing in your body that I wanted all the time. I couldn't wait to score. So once it kicked off, you're running around, you still got this kind of like this fizz about you. I don't know if that's what I was talking about, the drug. It's only when Alan mentioned it, but I used to can't wait for that. You scored a goal, you celebrate with everyone, you think, here comes that feeling now. Yeah. Where you're running around, we've just scored. You can hear the buzz of the crowd. You feel that. I'm addicted to that. That's what I was addicted to. I loved it. I couldn't wait to score.
Yeah. I would say it's 50% ability and 50%.
50-50,
I would say
you can't do it without either.
Oh no, because and that's you said it. That's what makes a difference. Is that you've got someone with a great ability, but have they got a great attitude? Have they got a great work ethic to make yourself get up? Yeah, and that's the difference.
It's actually a mixture of so many different things, isn't it? They've all got, it's like the recipe, like I'm cooking behind there now. Everything has got to come together. Yeah.
But that feeling, innit?
I swear to God.
Innit?
Yeah, there's nothing like it.
It's man.
When people ask that silly question, they say, what's better, scoring a goal or having sex? And I
remember when I was younger, I used to say sex.
Yeah, because then you realise that actually anyone can have sex. Anyone can have sex, can't they? But not everyone can score a big goal in a big game.
Somebody, the question, what they should have said is that like you can never score a goal again, or you can never have sex again.
That's a better question.
I would never have sex again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, I'm not.
Do you know the truth is now, though?
What?
None of us will never score again.
It's
and we'll probably never have sex again.
Exactly what the thing is. It's only 2 minutes anyway.
You won't at your age anyway.
I know. Tell me about it.
I swear. It's the question. I could never, ever not have that feeling. It's amazing.
When you watch other strikers nowadays in the modern game, or any game, even in our time, did you ever wonder, why don't you do this? Why? How can you not score more goals? Look at, say, Newcastle now. You've got they can't score for love nor money. Joel Linton's come in for loads of money. He's playing up front. Is the part who thinks, for crying out loud, come and have a chat with me? Do you think you can help someone? It's difficult because you've done a bit of goal scoring training, haven't you?
I have.
You can't put it in people's brains how to score goals, can you? It's weird.
For instance, a case in point is like Christian Benteke. You look at somebody who was scoring at the rate he was, went for the moves he did. And then it stopped. And then it stopped. And it stopped to a point where I watch him now and I actually don't think he's going to score when he gets a chance. Yeah. And that's, for me, it's a state of mind. Yeah. If I always, when I went through that little spell of not scoring, if I was scoring in training, I was always confident on the Saturday, no matter how many games I'd gone for. I just tried to continue scoring in training. You speak to them, you try to tell them that. Why? You stop making the moves? People say that thing about, what you're doing is still doing the right thing, still getting in there. Sometimes you see them, he's not even getting in there. The strikers. You see Joe Linton, he's not even getting in there.
Do you think you need to be selfish to be a good goal scorer?
In a way, yes.
In a way?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, you have to, when you find yourself in that position and there's a 60-40 chance you might not score, but then you've still got the ability, confidence, or the ability to say, no, I will.
But why is that selfish?
Well, because somebody
might be in a better position.
Yeah, but I always argue with that because
are.
people used to say sometimes, "Oh, would you square it under those circumstances?" Now, obviously, there are circumstances where if you're on the byline, then you have to square it. But other than that, I always used to argue. Hang on a minute, I don't think I'm selfish. If I'm coming in from an angle, and I think I've got a chance to score, that's fine. If there's someone in the middle across there, well, if I pass to him, that pass could go wrong, and then he's still got to score. If I get a chance, I'll either score or I won't. But if I pass, there's two things that can go wrong. My pass or his finish. So that was always my argument. Trying to justify my own selfishness.
I know, because that's quite selfish, thinking that deeply into it.
What about...
And also, would you trust someone else to be a better finisher than you are?
No, not at all.
You know what I've seen as well, though, Al? You know when you've gone through and then you have... You know what? I haven't even noticed them. That's when I know that I'm selfish. And then you score it and you think, wow, he's in a much better position. Maybe I could have scored. I didn't even notice him. That's how selfish
What about
I am.
penalties as well? Because I'm just looking at the lists here. I mean, Andy Cole never took penalties either, did he?
Nor did I until I got to Tottenham.
I never understand the centre forward who doesn't want to take a penalty.
Oh, I was desperate. I was at Leicester for years, desperate to get on penalties. We used to have Steve Lynex, never missed one. I moved to Everton. They got Trevor Steven, never missed one. Couldn't get on them at all. Barcelona used to... Julio Alberto, fullback, used to take him, never missed one. Never got on penalty until I played for Tottenham. First penalty I ever had, I think, in a proper game.
But people are on about, you know, when they look at the ratios and they say, well, so many penalties are more pressurised than anything else. Than in terms of you've.
Well, you got time to think. It's a great chance to score, though.
I practiced so many penalties, though.
Yeah, me too.
So confident when.
Did you always practice finishing as well, though?
Yeah.
But
That's the only thing I like doing in training.
It was the best, and plus we was doing so much defensive work. In the end, you end up going and talking to Bob Wilson and Dave Seaman, like, what happens if I come in from this side, goalie? What's the goalie doing then? Yeah. What if I do that? What's he thinking if I'm going to do...
I did exactly the same thing with Mark Wallington.
Did you do that?
I used to talk to him all the time, absolutely the same.
And plus, because Dave Seaman didn't want to dive about, you have to talk to him because he doesn't want to actually dive about. But
what about in later in your career? Because I know that I did it when my legs were starting to go.
Oh, that moment.
I used to look at this centre half so I was playing against and go and stand on the worst centre.
Always.
I used to do that right from the start.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do that from the start.
Loads of tips here. Putting this list together, we asked obviously our commentators at the BBC to put their list of the top 10 strikers. And the interesting thing is those that have not made the top 10. I mean, it is so difficult because the quality is extraordinarily high. Can I first and foremost say that Ian Wright, being exceptionally modest, took himself out of the top 10 because he felt that Andy Cole should be in it.
Absolutely.
Which was quite good. So, let me read out the list because I then want to talk to you a little bit before you actually have your top 10s about the criteria. What is it? Is it the best Premier League goal scorer? Is it the man that you would rely on when the pressure is most on to score a goal on the big occasion? Is it a person that's in his prime? Is it a person that was when he was in the Premier League and went on to other things abroad? We'll discuss all of that. First and foremost, I'm going to read you the list that we've got. It's in alphabetical order. Aguero, Drogba, Henry, Kane, Shearer, Suarez, Ronaldo, Rooney, Van Nistelrooy. We got him right, but he's now replaced by Cole, who obviously jumps up a lot in the alphabetical order. So, what do you think, Alan, should be the criteria? Most Premier League goal scorers, I imagine.
Whether you like it or not, a centre forward's job or a forward's job is to put the ball in the back of the net, and that list.
It's pretty good.
Players who have been missed off that list. I mean, what we got? Who's on there? Fowler, Michael Owen, Lampard. They haven't made that list, so don't blame us for that. It's the commentators. But first and foremost, you have to score goals. That's the law of the land, isn't it, for a forward?
And all those do score goals, slightly different ratios and slightly different numbers. Ian, what do you think the criteria should be? How do we judge it? Is it just the best Premier League goal scorer, so we just judge it by most goals? Or do you have to win things? Consistent longevity? Does it matter? Take, for example, now, obviously, if you were just talking about the greatest goal scorer on that list in the entirety of his career, wherever that may have taken him, Ronaldo has to win it, Cristiano Ronaldo, doesn't he? Because he pretty
he's
much
done,
scores a goal a game.
Yeah.
He's one of the great superstars of world football, one of the greatest players of all time. But do we consider the fact that he only really started scoring
That was last 2 seasons.
ridiculous
here,
amount of
wasn't it?
goals the last 2 seasons?
Here.
But do we take that into account or not? I don't know.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
We've got to, haven't we?
Yeah, we have to. Because you can't ignore what he's gone on to become as well, as what he's
That's what I mean.
done with us.
Likewise with Suarez.
Suarez
a
as
few
well.
unbelievable seasons at Liverpool. And then he carried on at
Yeah,
Barcelona
but
and did
we're
it.
talking
So-
about somebody who went, and Arsenal could have got him. And, we're talking about somebody who went to Barcelona at a time when they were amazing and made them better.
Yeah.
He, for me, scored one of the best goals I've ever seen in the Premier League as well. I know people talk about Di Canio's one, but his one against Newcastle was unbelievable. And then...
Can't remember it.
You can't remember it. It's one of those easy for you to forget, Al. Van Nistelrooy. This
many.
list is
It's
it's
so
amazing.
How long have we got to do this? Because this
It's
is like
really tough.
The usual length, whatever that length is.
we thought the captains were going to be hard, but this is
You know something as well, Al? We have to mention, Michael Owen in that period of time.
Ballon d'Or winner.
Yes. Michael Owen's not on the list.
The fact that he got injured and therefore longevity and he went and played in the
Maybe,
and
but
in those early years,
Yes.
Michael Owen.
It was scintillating. But what we've got here, this 10 here, that's magnificence.
Yeah, it
For
is.
me, magnificence.
Yeah.
Maybe Didier Drogba in respects of his goals to games,
Big goals. Big goals.
Massive goals.
Cup final.
FA Cup finals, yeah.
Champions League
Yeah.
final.
Yes.
Yeah, all sorts of monster
you know,
goals.
it's really tough.
It's
So what
difficult.
is
I
the
don't know.
criteria?
I don't
Is it
know.
for- are we deciding for Premier League or are we deciding for whatever they've done over their whole
Premier League.
career, wherever they've
Premier League.
been?
I think the gist of this show, right, the gist of this podcast has been Premier League.
Yes.
So I would say we judge it on their Premier League career. And the criteria beyond that, whether it's to choose someone that is going to rise to the big occasion, as all these players have unquestionably done, what they've won, etc. Perhaps not Alan. But we've got to have a degree of leeway. So, right, what I want to do now, take a little pause. We'll pause just for a second, although you'll never know it because we edit these things. We'll pause just for a second while you write out your top 10s. Good luck, chaps.
This is the Match of the Day Top 10 podcast.
I don't want to see yours. Al.
No, but it's...
Well, move this up. So you're making me see it.
Neck, so it needs time. Otherwise,
So you can't see.
an hour and
Look, I was trying to copy Al.
This is hard.
I'll do the pass.
This is ridiculous.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm struggling with Drogba and Kane.
I'm going to look right when I put myself number one, aren't I?
No.
You don't have to.
No, don't. Put yourself number 2 and put your number 1.
Yeah, good point. Who's going in number 1? Big up.
How are you going to explain? How you going to explain yourself?
I'm just going to say 260. That's all.
You lot. That's right.
That's
You know how that was?
If you hadn't done it, I'd have been very disappointed.
me. And the reason
Me,
why I
and
put the
it's about
story
me.
for myself, the story and the reason why I'm putting this case forward for myself.
Why do you think I'm doing this podcast?
We're going on Goalscorers.
Let's
I'm
do
not
this,
changing that,
otherwise
mate.
we'll
I'm not
debate.
changing
Have you got your list? You done it, Al? Because you're
Yeah.
going in first.
I've done it. Yeah.
Okay, right. Right. This has not been easy, has it? No, what we've decided to come up with, it's Premier League. So over the period of the time that these players played in the Premier League, so therefore longevity will have some point to play at the prime.
At the peak.
Exactly. Peak Premier League plus added longevity and stuff in the Premier League, because this podcast is about the Premier League. So it will still mean it's incredibly difficult. Alan, I'm going to start with you. I want your 10th up to 6th in that kind of order.
10th up to 6th.
So-
This is like ridiculously tough because
Yeah.
some of the numbers we got. I'm going to go. Number 10 is Cole.
Cole, yeah, okay.
Cool.
Andy Cole. Just getting in the top 10, it's worth pointing out, is quite a special achievement.
And I've gone number 9, Harry Kane.
As low as that, Harry
Yeah.
Kane. Great goal-scoring ratio, you know.
He has, yeah.
Okay. Yep, fine.
Suarez 8.
Suarez 8. Ooh, that's quite low, isn't it? Suarez, great. But they're all going to be considered low, really, aren't they? Because, except for the ones in the top 2 positions.
Ronaldo 7.
Okay. Oh, that's Shearer. Oh, no, Ronaldo. Okay. Cristiano Ronaldo,
I
7.
know, but it's what
Because of the, that's
longevity
the obviously
thing,
thing.
the
And he
Premier
was
League,
kind of just making his way in the game, wasn't he?
and Drogba 6.
Drogba higher than Ronaldo.
Yeah,
6. Didier 8. Not as great goal scoring ratio, but scorer of massively important goals in big cup finals, etc.
Yeah.
Difficult, obviously, really. Not surprised to see that you're not in 6th to 10th.
Well, before we go any higher, I was advised by
all right,
you to-
tell me one thing that strikes me there. Harry Kane, he's quite low down there. He has 201 appearances already, 136 goals. That's a goal-scoring ratio of 0.68. Yet to win anything, obviously. Does that count? I suppose you have to take everything into account.
Yeah, I just look at. I put it into the whole pot at the minute as goal scoring, absolutely.
Yeah.
Longevity, not necessarily so. But then the argument was Suarez at 8 because he wasn't around for.
He wasn't enough time in the Premier League
for a long time, winning stuff with his team. So when you put all that in, then the list that we have is a tough one. So that's why he's at 9.
Okay, and Ronaldo, presumably, I mean, if it was over a whole career and taking into account different places, different countries to play, then he would probably be number one.
He'd be out on his own stratosphere, wouldn't he? His stats, his ability are ridiculous. But his last 2 seasons in the Premier League, I think, were around about 48, 49 goals
49,
for the combined for the two. So that's why he's at 7.
Do you think, Alan, that Harry Kane in 2 or 3 years' time might climb in this order?
Definitely. Depending
on his fitness, obviously, because he does tend to get the odd injury.
Depending on his fitness, depending where he is, depending what success he's had at whatever club he's at, whether that's at Spurs or whether he goes.
You sense he'll move? You think he needs to move? It's a different question, but
I think my guess is if he doesn't win anything in the next 12 months, then he has to leave.
I mean, you'd never advise a striker just to end up at the club that he supports and
slightly different because of myself. I went back to Newcastle having already won the Premier League. But my guess is with Harry that if it doesn't, he'll do another year, I think. Yeah. And then if nothing comes in terms of trophy-wise, then I think he'll be off.
Yeah. How good is he?
Very, very, very good in terms of finishing, in terms of bringing people into the game.
If Kane had a midfield like Aguero had behind him.
That's a good point. Yeah. Imagine him playing at Man City or Liverpool.
Honestly, you can't even start to try and fathom the kind of ratio he would score at with what he's doing now.
Do you think he can beat your record? It's going to be difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
Given his fitness level.
What is he?
136.
136 he's on, is he?
Yeah, in 201 appearances. He'll need to score about the same again, another 125. He'll need to probably, given his goal-scoring ratio at that, he'll probably need to play another 180, 190 games minimum, which, given the injuries that he seems to get, is unlikely.
There's a lot of ifs.
Would it bother you? Would you like him to? No.
Do you think about it? Al, do you think about it in respect of?
We've just been sat here talking about how selfish Goalscorers are, and you asked me, would it bother me?
Because sometimes you see him and you see how he's scoring, and when he's fit, you think to yourself. And sometimes I'm sitting there saying, "Go on, Harry." But I'm thinking, Al, do you sit there thinking, "Gee, if he stays fit, with his age, he could." You can think that someone like Aguero, the rate.
It's going to go one day, innit? It'll go one day. So,
but
probably. There's too many ifs, isn't there? If he stays fit, if he stays in the Premier League. So,
well, I mean, people used to say to me, they said when Harry won the Golden Boot in the World Cup a couple of years ago, they used to say, "Oh God, you must be gutted so another English player's won the Golden Boot." I said, "No, it actually is good because it actually reminds people that I did actually win the Golden Boot rather than the bloke that sells crisps." Yeah. So I was quite happy with it when Harry Kane did that. And he had a couple of penalties.
It's going to be tough for him. It's going to be tough.
It is. It certainly is.
I think if Aguero was a couple of years younger, he'd probably give you a run for your money, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he can.
My auntie had should be my uncle. As well,
Good
so.
shot.
Anything that you look at those 5 players there and think, I'd have him up higher. Have you got one of those in your top 5?
Let me see. Yes, I've got one of those in my top 5, but I'm probably going to change it.
But yeah,
I'm probably going to
I
change
think we'll
it.
all change it about
I'm
5
probably
times.
change it, but it's very difficult.
How good was Suarez at Liverpool? What a player, wasn't he?
You know what?
And he's been unbelievably good at Barcelona since, but that doesn't count.
Well, like I said, with Suarez, like I say, it's a bad one for me. Anytime it's a nightmare to think about, because there was a time where Arsenal were talking about they may have been able to get him, but they made this ridiculous bid.
Yeah, but they didn't. That pound extra,
extra, and you're thinking to yourself, they may have got him, and then he not only left a Liverpool side that should have that season won the Premier League, but he went to Barcelona and made Barcelona a better team than they were. Better with Iniesta and Xavi and Messi. He made them better.
That front three, Suarez, Messi and Neymar.
He's somebody that I still think one of the best goals. People always talk about the Di Canio goal, but the one what he scored against you guys, 60 yards off his shoulder here, control, bam, in the goal. It's just
VAR would have probably disallowed it.
Yes, but that's for me. He's amazing, but this is just an unbelievable thing to try and do. I'm so as a quandary.
Okay.
Now,
well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you give us your 10 to 6?
My 10 to 6.
Yeah. Go on, and I'll shuffle them around if I can. Shearer at 10. Yeah.
I've gone Cole.
Yeah, same.
And Drogba.
Drogba drops down. He's probably got the lowest goal scoring ratio out of
but
all
we're talking about as a number 9, and
I know, he's all
he monopolised that number 9 on his own. And I've got Kane at 8.
Kane at 8. Oh, you're making me shuffle here.
You know what? I've put
Kane at 8.
I'm putting Van Nistelrooy.
Ooh, where 7?
Yeah.
Okay, Van Nistelrooy goes in. Great
7.
Natural goal scorer. Poacher in the old proper sense of the word.
And then I've got Suarez.
Suarez at 6. That's it. Okay, that's fine for now. Ronaldo sneaked into the top 5, obviously. I mean, it's a great credit just to be in the top 10, isn't it?
Yes, but
Didier Drogba, you've got him lower than Alan. Why?
Maybe because of the rate he scored at. I'm talking like goal scorers. Like even Andy Cole could feel a little bit aggrieved to be at 10. Maybe he could have been at 9, because I feel that Drogba's gone in there just because of the kind of player he was and what he done for Chelsea. And the way
score of big goals,
massive goals.
But his goal scoring ratio was low as 0.41.
Yeah.
104 goals in 254 appearances. But there was more to his game.
Much more to his game, and that is probably why he didn't score more, because he was out there helping the team doing other stuff. But when you look at Kane, just an out-and-out, for me, an out-and-out goal scorer. And like I said, if he was in a team with a midfield that could feed him like Aguero's being fed, he'd be way up there, pushing out. Van Nistelrooy's got to be in there for the rate in which he scored, the goals he scored, and he was just literally like a monster. His appetite and the way he scored.
95 goals in 150 appearances.
That's ridiculous.
0.63.
Yeah.
That's
magnificent. The only thing is because he got 95, and it's amazing that he's not up in the 100. And then Suarez, let's see like I mentioned with Suarez, he's the player and the caliber player he was. He's got to be in there for me. I loved him.
I think in terms of being a goal scorer, Van Nistelrooy was incredible.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. Which is what we're talking about. The criteria here is Premier League goal scorers.
Yeah. So, his ratio, as you just mentioned there.
Yeah. You've got him higher, haven't you?
95.
You've got him in the top 5.
I've got him in top 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, Ian, do you want to give us the rest of your, whilst we've got your 6 to 10, why don't you give us your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
Okay.
Who's 5th?
5th is Rooney.
See, we've not talked about Wayne Rooney yet. Obviously, incredibly long career. Manchester United's record goal scorer.
Yeah,
England's record goal scorer.
Brilliant.
And he's only 5th.
Yeah.
How's that then?
Because of the calibre of players that we're dealing with.
Goal to game ratio.
Yeah, I think, that's, but...
There's more to his game though, isn't there? That's the thing.
Yeah. And how many times did he sacrifice himself in terms of playing in a different position to the one that he would have liked to have played for the team.
491 appearances, 208 goals, goals per game ratio of 0.42, which is quite a lot lower. So the criteria of this is goal scoring, which is why.
Yeah,
but what a player to play with, as you said, Alan, wouldn't he?
I just think, I think from when he started as that kid at Everton, he was raw, and he was everything I liked about a football in terms of giving everything. No one could push him off the ball. Skill wise, he was phenomenal. Goals. Yes, so in terms sacrificing himself, not being so selfish as much as some of those names on there in a good way. So
I think the pressure as well, like you mentioned now, from the age of 16 to get to be the top scorer of Man United, it's history. Yeah. England, to be on a weekly basis under the pressure he was to perform continuously what he done, and for him to do it. Is I'm not sure anyone else has had to do and last as long as he has and still achieve the very highest, still playing. Fourth is Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Okay, who most of his brilliance has been elsewhere. His last season or two at United
started to see it, didn't we?
We started to see it. And obviously, when Ronaldo was playing at Manchester United in the first few years, there used to be two up front and he was very much a winger, wasn't he?
Yes.
And then gradually in the last season or two, he drifted into that left of a three position that he plays so brilliantly.
And he's magnificent.
Yeah. Okay.
Aguero 3.
Aguero 3. This is a hell of a top 5.
I've gone Shearer 1.
1 or 2?
No. Henry 2.
Henry, oh wow!
Oh, I'm honoured, Ian. I'm honoured.
Blimey, you surprised me. I thought you might go Thierry
Might
above.
change it,
And then there's
time to change.
I just think that
Alan, is this the proudest moment of your career?
I love you, Ray.
I know people are going to say it's because we're close. We're not close. I did used to hate Al. I've grown to love him.
Why did you hate me?
Did you?
Because I was so jealous of him.
I'm going to put Alan Shearer number 1.
You know, the thing is...
I suspect Alan Shearer's order will be similar at the top end.
But the reason is that the amount of goals and where he did it, and when you look at...
Yeah, I mean, he's the top... Without bearing his blushes here, I've got some statistics written down here. Alan Shearer, 441 appearances. 260 goals. I never realised you scored that many goals because we've only used that graphic on Match Today about 400 times.
I got one disallowed, the disallowed one. The goals panel took one off me. It's never been disallowed.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you have to look at it as well. The 3 years as well.
You didn't play at the time of VAR, so that would have reduced it to about 125.
True,
Good 3 years off.
Yeah.
3 seasons.
You know, so 3 seasons off.
I know.
And, you know, when you look at Thierry, you know, and how great Thierry is.
Not as good a goal-scoring ratio as one or two others, though, Alan. I hate to bring that up.
Longevity, Gary.
0.59. Not as good as Aguero's or even Thierry Henry's, funnily enough.
I know.
0.68. And Thierry Henry also had more assists than anyone else. Just thought I'd mention that.
But still, he's still 85 goals in front of him.
Okay, but we've got your top 5. What about your top 5, Alan?
My top 5 is 5th is Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Van Nistelrooy.
I've gone Rooney 4th.
Rooney 4th.
Yeah. I've gone Thierry Henry 3.
3? Got Aguero above him, yeah?
I've got Aguero.
2.
And I didn't want to put myself in top, but you two said I had to go.
No, I didn't. I said the one thing I wouldn't do if I were you.
In top, yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Why?
Probably do.
All right, this is not an easy question. Why have you put yourself the 260? You haven't mentioned it. Why?
Is that...
Yes, well played.
Under 3 years, I was injured, right?
3 years.
You've got to throw that in.
3 years. I don't like those injury-prone players. That would count against it for me. All right, why is Aguero above Henry?
I mean, Aguero is now coming up to his 32nd birthday, and he's still banging in the goals.
Yeah.
Left, right, and centre. I know he's playing in a magnificent team, but I'm just trying to find his.
Both Aguero and Henry have very similar goal scoring ratios. Both significantly better than Alan Shearer.
180 odd goals, 260 appearances. So it's. I mean, it's look what he's won. Also, I mean, I love the both of them, Thierry and Sergio. There's in terms of. Thierry was different. Thierry was this...
He's a hybrid of a player.
I mean, he could. If you wanted him to play... See, the role now as a forward is slightly changed in terms of... There's not so much centre-forward now, is there? It's like a forward. But the one constant that you have to do is you have to score goals.
And he did.
And I mean, they're both of them not only great goal scorers, but scorer of great goals.
Yeah. Do you want to know my order, what it would have been?
What would it have been?
I mean, I'm just going to do my top three. It would be the same top three. But I would, because of the criteria, if we were talking about the best goal scorer, it'd be Ronaldo, but that's kind of by the by because
We agree on that.
Yeah. But the top three, mine would be, you'd be second now. I'd put Henry in.
You're entitled to your opinion, Gary.
Yeah, and it would be very difficult. Aguero I'd have in 3, and I'm only doing this to annoy you. But Thierry Henry's goal-scoring ratio and the fact that he was such a gorgeous footballer, such a beautiful footballer, and the fact that every Arsenal fan is going to hate Ian Wright now.
Most of them do. Most of them do.
I just used to love watching him play, and it goes against the grain because you were a proper goal scorer, one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, unquetionably. But Henry,
is it about greatest goal scorer? Or is
it is about greatest goal scorer, but the ratio, the ratio, and he won loads.
Here's a question that might define this is. If you were going into a one-off game and you're going to put 2 players up front in your team
in their prime,
at their peak, at their best, and you're putting them into an unbelievable team, you've got 2 players to go into a one-off game, who are you putting in?
Shearer and Henry.
Ronaldo's got to be one of them.
In his prime,
in his peak, Ronaldo scores in every goal he plays. Every game he plays, he scores.
In the peak. In the peak.
At peak of their career or peak of their Premier League career?
Peak of their powers, man.
Peak of their powers, got to be Ronaldo. And Henry or you, I would say.
I'd have Henry and I'd probably have Shearer. I would have Shearer.
Not Ronaldo. How could you not have Ronaldo?
Because I want to have Henry.
Okay.
Henry
I understand that. But why can't you have Henry? It's because he's sitting next to you. He's such a good mate.
No, because I just feel that for 260 goals, that many, 85 in front of the next, it's a lot.
Cristiano Ronaldo scores a goal every game he plays on average. And that is madness. It's madness what he's done to the game in terms of goal scoring. But the only person that competes with him really has been Messi. He scores the same goal ratio. Messi obviously is also the best passer and the best dribbler we've ever seen. So he might beat him, but that's just my view. But Ronaldo is extraordinary.
That's where I'm going.
But that's a different question.
Yeah.
It's a different question. But the great thing is, Al, you're in everyone's top 10.
It's nice being here, guys. It's nice listening to you. It's nice to be top of that list. So can we carry this on for another hour or 2?
Shall we run through all 260 of your goals?
How long we got?
Right, we've pretty much got our order. And this one, funnily enough, as hard as it was, it didn't differ too much between you. I'm going to ask you just a separate question. If you as a striker, Ian, if you as a striker, Alan, could play with one of those players, and don't say yourself, if you could play with one of those players, who would you want to play with? At their prime, at your prime?
I'm going Henry.
Up front together.
Henry.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I played with you too. I think Henry would be a bit better.
I think you're right.
I would go with Wayne Rooney.
Seriously?
That's interesting.
I'll tell you why.
I think Rooney moves way higher up the list in that question, doesn't he?
Because when you're looking at natural goal scorers in terms of Aguero and Van Nistelrooy and Kane and
Ronaldo.
But I look at what a selfish point of view in terms of where would I be in terms of where he's going to be? Will he take my space in the box? I just think Rooney in his... but
I'm talking about me playing with Henry as the Henry who's the assister as well, because he assists.
Well, I think Henry and Rooney would probably, out of all those, be the obvious two. Yeah. Because they were wonderful goal scorers, obviously, but they were also beautiful footballers.
Yeah.
So I understand
Definitely
that. I think I wouldn't disagree. I think I'd go Thierry Henry. Yeah. Maybe. Before we go... remind everyone of your top 10, starting with you, Alan.
I put myself as number 1. Sorry, guys. Aguero 2, Henry 3, Rooney 4, Van Nistelrooy 5, Drogba 6, Ronaldo 7, Suarez 8, Kane 9, and Andy Cole.
Ian Wright.
So I've gone for 10 Cole, 9 Drogba, 8 Kane, 7 Ronaldo, 6 Suarez, 5 Van Nistelrooy, 4 Rooney, 3 Aguero, Henry 2, and Shearer 1.
Don't forget, you can disagree by all means. We change our mind by the minute on this. But you can go to the BBC Sport website and put your own top 10 goal scorers. Obviously, football didn't exist until the Premier League, so it excludes anyone that was born a long time ago. But thanks again for listening and joining us. That's it for this episode of Match of the Day Top 10. I'm assuming you've enjoyed it because you've made it to the end. If you want more football, Mark Chapman, Kelly Cates and the 5 Live Sport team have the latest analysis and interviews every day. Just search for Football Daily, which also features Righty, usually on a Tuesday morning. Just search for Football Daily on BBC Sounds. These sounds. These sounds. These sounds. These sounds.